They took our allies, Earth answered with fire and fury. Part 1, the day they took them. The signal came at 0300 Earth Standard Time. Defense Outpost Aegis, humanity's joint military installation with the Centaurians, had gone dark. Captain Ryoko Tanaka stood frozen before their main display at Earth Command Center, watching the last transmission replay. The footage showed their allies, the proud, ethereal Centaurians, being dragged away in energy chains by Dominion forces. "Play it again," ordered Admiral Jackson Wei, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display. The footage flickered, Centaurian Commander Vextal, their most trusted ally, standing defiant as Dominion troops stormed the command center. His final words echoed through the chamber, "Earth, do not blame yourselves. We chose to stand with you knowing the risks. Remember us not with grief, but with," the transmission cut to static. Humanity had been warned. The Galactic Dominion had made it clear, either Earth abandoned its rapid expansion into space, or there would be consequences. But no one expected them to strike at the Centaurians, a species that had stood beside humanity since our first steps into their void. The Centaurians had defied the Dominion's embargo against Earth, sharing advanced shield technology, helping establish our colonies, standing guard while we grew stronger. "They are too valuable to the Dominion," the analysts had said. They wouldn't dare touch them. They were wrong. Within hours, reports flooded in from across the sector. Every Centaurian outpost linked to Earth had been raided. Thousands of our allies, captured. Not killed, but taken. The message was clear: submit, or watch your friends suffer. The United Earth Council convened in emergency session. The chamber crackled with barely contained rage as Admiral Wei addressed the assembly. "The Dominion believes they can control us through our allies. They think we'll bow down to protect the Centaurians." His voice hardened. "They don't understand what they've done." Dr. Himari Okada, head of Earth's Advanced Weapons Division, stepped forward. Her usual calm demeanor had been replaced by cold fury. "The Centaurians didn't just give us technology. They gave us understanding. Every secret they shared, every innovation we developed together, we've been building on it. Project Prometheus is ready." The council chamber erupted in whispers. Project Prometheus had been deemed too dangerous, too aggressive for implementation. Until now. "They expect us to negotiate," continued Dr. Okada. "To plead for our allies' release. Instead, we're going to show them why taking our friends was their last mistake." Orbital feeds showed the Dominion ships returning to their territory, dragging carrier vessels filled with captured Centaurians. They moved with the arrogance of unchallenged power, never suspecting that Earth's response was already in motion. In hidden shipyards across the solar system, vessels unlike anything the galaxy had seen before were emerging from their berths. Ships that combined Centaurian shield harmonics with humanity's most devastating innovations. Weapons that could pierce any defense, guided by targeting systems that learned and adapted in real time. Captain Tanaka was assigned to lead the first strike force. As she stood on the bridge of the EFS Retribution, she thought of Commander Vextal's last transmission. The Dominion had miscalculated badly. They thought taking our allies would weaken us. Instead, they had unleashed something far more dangerous, a humanity united in fury, armed with technology we'd been quietly perfecting for years. "All ships, battle positions," she ordered. The Dominion wanted to teach us a lesson about power. It's time to teach them about consequence. Earth's response would reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity. We weren't just fighting for revenge. We were fighting to show every species that threatening our allies meant facing extinction. The Dominion had taken our friends, expecting submission. Earth would answer with fire and fury. They took our allies, Earth answered with fire and fury. Part 2, Forging the Flame. The transformation of Earth's military machine took just 6 weeks. 6 weeks that changed the galaxy forever. Deep beneath the Olympus Mons facility on Mars, Dr. Himari Okada stood before a wall of holographic displays, watching as Project Prometheus came to life. The massive underground complex hummed with energy as thousands of engineers and scientists worked to perfect humanity's answer to the Dominion's aggression. "Show me the Ghost Fleet status," she commanded. The central display shifted, revealing a vast shipyard hidden in the asteroid belt. Dozens of vessels hung in the void, their hulls incorporating Centaurian shield technology with a deadly new addition, phase shift capability. These ships could literally pass through enemy defenses, becoming solid only to deliver their devastating payload. Colonel Marcus Rivera entered the command center, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly as it processed the tactical displays. The neural interface systems are online. Every ship in the Ghost Fleet can now act as one coordinated organism. The Dominion won't be able to predict our attack patterns. But ships were only the beginning. Project Prometheus had 3 phases, each more terrifying than the last. Dr. O'Connor moved to another station where technicians were putting the finishing touches on what looked like ordinary combat armor. "The Wraith suits are ready for field testing," reported Lieutenant Yuki Chen, head of infantry weapons development. She lifted one of the helmets, its surface rippling like liquid metal. Centaurian phase technology combined with human neural networks. "Our soldiers can walk through walls, become virtually invisible, and still deliver enough firepower to level a city." The Dominion had expected Earth to crumble without Centaurian support. Instead, we had taken everything our allies taught us and turned it into weapons they never imagined possible. But the true horror of Project Prometheus lay in its 3rd phase. Dr. O'Connor accessed a secure terminal, bringing up specifications for Operation Sundering. The assembled military leaders fell silent as they studied the details. This wasn't just about defeating the Dominion, it was about making them understand the true cost of their actions. "The Dominion's power comes from their quantum communication network," explained Dr. O'Connor. "They use it to coordinate their fleets, maintain their empire, and hold our allies captive. We're going to tear it apart." She gestured to a device smaller than a human hand. "The quantum cascade virus. Once deployed, it will infect their entire network. Every ship, every station, every detention facility holding our Centaurian allies will lose contact with their command structure. Their empire will be blind, deaf, and divided." Admiral Wei studied the projections with grim satisfaction. "How long until we're ready?" "The Ghost Fleet launches in 48 hours, replied Colonel Rivera. "Wraith squad teams are already positioning themselves near key Dominion installations. Once the virus deploys, we'll strike simultaneously across their territory." The Admiral nodded slowly. "The Dominion thinks they understand human nature. They believe taking our allies showed their strength. Instead, they've given us something far more dangerous than any weapon, a purpose." In the training chambers above, the first wave of Wraith squad operators ran combat simulations. Their movements were impossible to track as they phased through walls, appeared behind target drones, and disappeared again. Each operator wore a memorial band bearing the name of a captured Centaurian. The Ghost Fleet vessels underwent their final system checks. Their hulls were painted with a new insignia, a phoenix rising from flames, clutching broken chains. Earth's message to the galaxy was clear: we would not just fight back, we would redefine warfare itself. Dr. O'Connor received word that the Dominion had begun broadcasting images of captured Centaurians, forced to work in their military installations. They meant it as a warning to Earth. Instead, it only fueled the fury driving Project Prometheus forward. "They wanted to show us our powerlessness," she said, watching the final preparations. "Instead, they are about to learn what happens when humanity stops playing by their rules." In orbit above Mars, the first Ghost Fleet ships powered up their phase shift drives. Their crews weren't just soldiers, they were the harbingers of a new era. Earth wasn't seeking mere victory. We were about to show the galaxy why taking our allies was the last mistake the Dominion would ever make. The countdown to Operation Sundering had begun. In 48 hours, the Dominion would learn that their greatest weapons, fear and intimidation, meant nothing to a species driven by righteous fury. They had taken our friends, expecting submission. Earth's response would burn their empire to ash. They took our allies, Earth answered with fire and fury. Part 3, First Strike Back. Operation Sundering began in absolute silence. No declaration of war, no ultimatum, no warning. The first sign that humanity had changed the rules of engagement came when the Dominion's primary quantum relay station above Centauri Prime simply vanished. Captain Tanaka stood on the bridge of the EFS Retribution, watching through phase-shifted sensors as her ghost fleet emerged from quantum space inside the Dominion's defense perimeter. The enemy's vaunted planetary shield grid might as well have been missed against Earth's new technology. "All ships, execute Phase 1, she ordered. "Remember what they took from us. Remember why we're here." Across Dominion space, 37 critical military installations simultaneously went dark. The Ghost fleet struck like phantoms, their ships materializing inside secured facilities, releasing Wraith squad operators, then vanishing again before the Dominion sensors could even register their presence. At the Dominion's primary military academy on Alios 3, Commander Jun Park led his Wraith squad through solid walls into the facility's central command. The Dominion officers didn't even have time to rise from their stations before Earth's enhanced soldiers appeared around them like avenging spirits. "Send the message," Park ordered, his voice distorted through the Wraith suit's systems. The squad uploaded the quantum cascade virus directly into the Academy's network core. Within seconds, the virus began its work, spreading through the Dominion's vast communication infrastructure like digital wildfire. In orbit above the Dominion throne world, Admiral Wei watched the strategic display as sections of the enemy's empire began going dark. Dr. Okada's virus is exceeding projections. The Dominion's entire command structure is fragmenting. But this wasn't just about crippling their military capability. Each strike had been meticulously planned to send a message. The Ghost fleet didn't target population centers or civilian infrastructure. They struck at symbols of Dominion power, the institutions that had authorized the taking of Earth's allies. On Dominion Prime, High Commander Vexthal of the Centaurians watched from his prison cell as the facility's systems began to fail. The Dominion guards rushed to contain the chaos as their communications died, their security systems crashed, and their weapons lost power. Through the window of his cell, he saw something impossible: human soldiers walking through solid walls, their armor rippling like liquid shadow. Lieutenant Yuki Chen materialized inside Vexthal's cell, her Wraith suit deactivating its phase shift. "Commander Vexthal. Earth remembers its promises. We've come to take you home." The rescue operations were conducted with surgical precision. Ghost fleet vessels appeared inside Dominion detention centers, extracted their Centaurian allies, and vanished before the enemy could mount any meaningful response. Each rescue was accompanied by a simple message broadcast on all frequencies: "You took our friends. We're taking them back." But liberation was only part of Earth's response. As the quantum cascade virus spread, it didn't just disrupt communications, it exposed the truth. Every secret deal, every hidden atrocity, every piece of evidence showing how the Dominion had planned the Centaurian abduction was transmitted across the galaxy. The Dominion's carefully maintained image of invincibility crumbled in hours. Their own subject worlds, seeing the Empire's weakness exposed, began to rise up. The very act of taking Earth's allies had sown the seeds of their destruction. Captain Tanaka received the confirmation she had been waiting for: the last Centaurian prisoner had been rescued. But the operation wasn't over. "All ships, execute Phase 2, she commanded. "Show them the cost of their arrogance." The Ghost fleet reappeared, this time targeting the Dominion's military shipyards. The phase shift technology that had allowed them to rescue their allies now became a weapon of unprecedented destruction. Ships materialized inside Dominion vessels, their hulls intersecting with enemy matter before becoming solid. The results were catastrophic. From his newly liberated command post, Commander Vexthal watched Earth's revenge unfold. "We knew humans were capable of great things," he said to Lieutenant Chen. "But this is beyond anything we imagined." "They thought taking our allies would force us to submit," she replied, watching another Dominion battlecruiser tear itself apart from the inside. "Instead, they gave us a reason to show the galaxy exactly what humanity is capable of when pushed too far." As Operation Sundering entered its final phase, the message to the galaxy was clear: Earth's response to aggression would be overwhelming, precise, and unstoppable. "We had not just rescued our allies, We had demonstrated a level of technological advancement that sent shockwaves through every spacefaring civilization. The Dominion had taken our friends, expecting submission. Earth had answered with technologies that rewrote the rules of warfare itself. And this was just the beginning of our fury. They took our allies, Earth answered with fire and fury. Part 4, their hunt continues. 3 months after Operation Sundering, the galaxy learned that Earth's vengeance was far from complete. The Dominion's collapse was just the beginning. Now humanity turned its attention to every species that had aided in the capture of our Centaurian allies. Fleet Commander Nadia Volkov stood in the war room of the EFS Nemesis, studying intelligence reports from across known space. The holographic display showed dozens of marked targets, trading houses that had supplied the Dominion, mercenary groups that had participated in raids, and supposedly neutral powers that had turned a blind eye to our allies' suffering. The Krell Merchant Confederation is next, she announced to her command staff. Their ships transported captured Centaurians. Their banks funded the operation. They profited from our allies' pain. Now they'll pay the price. The Ghost Fleet had evolved. Each ship now carried improved phase shift drives, allowing them to remain out of normal space for extended periods. The Wraith suits had been upgraded with Centaurian bioresonance technology, letting operators sense and track specific species across vast distances. Earth wasn't just fighting a war, we were hunting. Deep in Krell space, the massive trading station known as the Golden Exchange continued its business as usual. The Krell believed their neutrality would protect them. They were wrong. Major Omar Hassan's Wraith squad materialized inside the exchange's central vault. Begin the upload, he ordered. Within seconds, the squad's quantum intrusion programs began draining every account tied to Centaurian trafficking. But they weren't stealing the money, they were destroying it, erasing decades of accumulated wealth. Security breach in the financial sector, a Krell operator screamed, watching helplessly as trillions in credits vanished. It's impossible, our firewalls are the best in the galaxy. The best wasn't good enough against Earth's rage-fueled innovation. As the Krell's fortune evaporated, Commander Volkov's voice echoed through every speaker in the station, you helped them take our friends. Your profit was built on their suffering. Now watch it burn. Their hunt extended beyond military targets. Dr. O'Cotter's quantum cascade virus had evolved, becoming a tool for exposing hidden truths. Every diplomatic transmission, every secret deal, every corrupt arrangement was laid bare for the galaxy to see. Species that had considered themselves untouchable found their darkest secrets broadcast across the quantum net. The Syndicate worlds, which had provided surveillance data to the Dominion, found their own spy networks turned against them. The hegemony of TUR, which had allowed their territory to be used for transporting prisoners, watched their defense systems shut down as Ghost Fleet ships appeared in their home system. But Earth's campaign wasn't about random destruction. Each strike was calculated, designed to dismantle the networks that had made the Centaurian capture possible. Commander Volkov's forces didn't target civilian populations, they erased the infrastructure of oppression itself. In the Cygnus sector, the mercenary coalition known as the Steel Talons learned this lesson brutally. They had been proud of their role in subduing Centaurian resistance. Now their bases disappeared one by one, their ships were found drifting in space with all systems erased, and their leaders vanished without a trace. The message spread, helping Earth's enemies meant facing extinction. Species that had once viewed humanity as primitive now spoke of us in whispers. They called our ships ghost wolves and our soldiers shadow demons. The galaxy was learning that Earth's technological leap wasn't just about military power, it was about rewriting the rules of conflict itself. Lieutenant Chen, now leading her own Wraith squad, stood in the ruins of a Krell military academy. The once proud institution had been a training ground for troops used against the Centaurians. Now it served as a warning. Her squad had left a single message carved into its central plaza: Earth remembers. Earth hunts. Earth punishes. The remaining powers that had aided the Dominion began to crack under the pressure. Some tried to negotiate, offering reparations and apologies. Others attempted to hide, shutting down their networks and retreating to fortified worlds. It didn't matter. Earth's new technologies made every defense obsolete, every hiding place accessible. Commander Volkov received word that the Krell Confederation was surrendering unconditionally. Their leadership begged for mercy, offering to expose every collaborator who had helped capture the Centaurians. She allowed herself a cold smile. Accept their surrender. Add their intelligence to their hunt list. The galaxy needs to understand, there is no statute of limitations on betraying Earth's allies. As the Ghost Fleet prepared for its next target, the liberated Centaurians watched in awe. They had known humans were capable of great loyalty, but this level of technological advancement and military precision, all developed in the name of vengeance, was beyond their comprehension. Your species is changing the fundamental nature of warfare, observed Commander Vexthal to Admiral Wei during a strategy session. No, Wei replied, studying the list of remaining targets. We're changing the fundamental nature of consequence. The galaxy thought they could prey on our friends without repercussion. Now they are learning that humanity's fury doesn't just destroy, it hunts, it remembers, and it never forgives. They took our allies, Earth answered with fire and fury. Part 5, Fury Unleashed. 1 year after the taking of our allies, Earth gathered its forces for the final phase of retribution. The remnants of the Dominion and their collaborators had retreated to their last stronghold, a fortress system known as the Citadel of Seven Suns. They believed its ancient defenses, powered by the energy of multiple stars, would protect them from humanity's wrath. They were about to learn the true meaning of fire and fury. Grand Admiral Wei stood on the bridge of humanity's newest vessel, the EFS Reckoning. The massive ship represented the pinnacle of Earth's technological revolution, a perfect fusion of human innovation and Centaurian wisdom. Around it, the largest ghost fleet ever assembled shimmered in and out of normal space, their phase shift drives creating a haunting display of power. All command staff, report, Wei ordered, his voice carrying to every ship in the fleet. Commander Volkov's hologram appeared first. Ghost Fleet squadrons ready. Phase shift drives at maximum capacity. Major Hassan materialized next. Wraith squads deployed to all target coordinates. Waiting for the signal. Dr. Okada's projection completed the circle. Project Prometheus final protocol is armed. The galaxy will remember this day. The Citadel of Seven Suns hung before them, its massive defense platforms drawing power directly from the stellar bodies around it. The combined forces of every species that had wronged Earth and the Centaurians had gathered here, believing their numbers and their stolen technology would save them. Begin transmission, Wei commanded. His message broadcast across all frequencies, in all known languages. You took our allies, thinking we would break. Instead, we evolved. You hiding behind your walls, behind your stars, this changes nothing. There is nowhere in this galaxy you can hide from Earth's fury. The enemy responded with defiance, their combined fleets forming battle lines around the Citadel. Their commanders transmitted their own message, you're outnumbered 1,000 to 1. Your victory against the Dominion was impressive, but this is different. Surrender now, and perhaps we'll be merciful. Wei's laugh echoed through their command channel. We didn't come here for battle. We came here to teach the galaxy its final lesson. Dr. Okada activated Project Prometheus's ultimate achievement. The Reckoning's main cannon began to glow with impossible energy, the combined knowledge of human physics and Centaurian stellar manipulation made manifest as a weapon. You used stars to power your defenses, Wei announced to the enemy fleet. Now watch what humanity can do with that same power. The Reckoning fired. But instead of a conventional energy beam, it released a cascade of quantum-entangled particles directly into the nearest sun. The effect was immediate and devastating. The star's corona began to pulse with new energy patterns that spread to the other 6 stars through their artificial power networks. Commander Vexthal, watching from the Centaurian flagship, finally understood. By the eternal light, they've turned the very stars against them. The 7 suns began to pulse in harmony, their energy flowing not into the Citadel's defenses, but into a new pattern defined by Earth's technology. The enemy fleet commanders watched in horror as their power systems overloaded. But this wasn't just about destruction, it was about control. All ships, execute final protocol, Wei ordered. The Ghost Fleet phased into action, appearing inside enemy formations. But they weren't firing weapons. Instead, they created quantum-locked zones throughout the enemy fleet. Ships found themselves frozen in space, their crews trapped in temporal stasis, forced to watch as Earth demonstrated its complete mastery over the fundamental forces of nature. Major Hassan's Wraith squads materialized aboard the Citadel itself, their upgraded suits allowing them to manipulate the same stellar energy that once powered its defenses. The Citadel is secured, he reported. All enemy leadership located and contained. The Seven Suns continued their synchronized pulse, now forming a visible network of energy that Earth's ships could navigate like a web. Every attempt to flee was met with instant capture. Every weapons platform turned useless. This wasn't just victory, it was absolute dominance. Dr. O'Connor's voice carried pride and finality. Project Prometheus is complete. We have achieved what they thought impossible, total control over stellar mechanics itself. The galaxy's greatest power source is now Earth's to command. Wei addressed the captured enemy leaders. You thought taking our allies showed your strength. Instead, it revealed your greatest weakness. You never understood what humanity would become when driven by loyalty and fury. Today isn't just about victory. It's about ensuring that no species ever again thinks they can harm our allies without consequence. The terms of surrender were non-negotiable. Every species that had participated in the taking of the Centaurians would submit to Earth's oversight. Their military capabilities would be dismantled, their territories reduced, and their future development controlled. But more importantly, they would serve as an eternal reminder of humanity's response to betrayal. Commander Vexthal approached Wei after the surrender was complete. When they took us, we believed we had failed humanity by being too weak to resist. We never imagined our capture would lead to this. He gestured at the network of controlled stars, at the fleet that had rewritten the laws of physics itself. You didn't fail us, Wei replied. You gave us something far more valuable than technology. You gave us a reason to show the galaxy exactly what humanity becomes when our allies are threatened. They took you, expecting us to submit in fear. Instead, they created something they'll fear for generations to come. As news of the Citadel's fall spread across the galaxy, the message was clear: Earth's fury had not just defeated an enemy, it had reshaped the very nature of power among the stars. We hadn't just answered aggression with fire, we had evolved into something new, something that would ensure our allies would never again be taken from us. The galaxy had learned its lesson. They took our allies, and Earth answered with fire and fury. But more importantly, we answered with such overwhelming technological superiority that the very stars themselves became instruments of our will. Never again would any species dare to test humanity's resolve or threaten those under our protection. For in the end, they didn't just create an enemy, they forged a power that would dominate the galaxy for millennia to come.